Hello and welcome to this special chat on the budget. Well, we are here in Jaipur, and it's interesting to know that Rajasthan is among the top 10 states in the country as far as exports are concerned. So there's gems and jewelry, there's handicraft, there's medium and small scale industry of various kinds, and there are garments. Rajasthan is known for its garments, for its textiles, and especially Jaipur. Now, I'm here with members of GEAR. GEAR is the Garments Exporters Association of Rajasthan. To my right is the chairman of this association, that is Mr. Rakshit. Next to him is Amit, who's secretary. And then, of course, there are two more executive members, Akash and Vimalji. So let's start this conversation. We are looking at the budget. Rajasthan budget is coming. We've had investment summit in Rajasthan. Rakshitji, little bit about the government business in Rajasthan and the export. What is, what has been the genesis of this export business in Rajasthan for garments? Why garments in Jaipur? And how much of Rajasthan's exports is actually garments? And where all do you export to?
So basically, garments has been the most, important part of Rajasthan. So we've been doing exports since maybe 50 years for garments, and it's a hub now. So, you don't need a name now. Jaipur is already a name in the world for garment exports. We are one of the biggest manufacturers for exports and woven ladies' garments. So, it's already a name in the world.
Okay. Now, we are also looking at a new world politically. We are looking at changes in the subcontinent, where we are looking, say, Amit, I'd put that question to you. We're looking at a state like Bangladesh. Now, for women like me who love to go shopping, you go anywhere and you pick up a big brand, you pick up Abercrombie and Fitch, you pick up Ralph Lauren, you pick up a Barber jacket, or anything which is, branded. It's made in Bangladesh. Right. So, what really, I'll ask him, and then, of course, I'll come back to you, Rakshit. But, Amit, what are the kind of incentives? Look at the political changes in Bangladesh. Can Jaipur step in? And what do you need from the government?
Definitely, ma'am. Very opportune time. China +1 policy, unstable government in Bangladesh. I think we have the right opportunity to grab this boost of trade. And if we get proper incentives, capital investments for incentives for modernization, then definitely we can go on that trajectory.
Rakshit, finance is very important. Like he said, finance is very important. You need to modernize perhaps machines also. So what are the kind of financial help you're looking at from the state government and from the center? I believe you've had a series of meetings with the state government at least.
We just went to the pre-budget few days back, and we presented our suggestions to the ministry. So the one thing what we suggested was we need a parallel park, which is a plug-and-play system. And with that, we need a CFC, which is a common, platform, common area, which is need for the industry. So this is one thing. The other thing we wanted is, being the rates of the prices of the land going so up. So we need to go vertical up. So at the moment, we are allowed 4 floors. So we need another, allowance for 10 floors so that we can go vertically up and increase the number of machines and increase the number of production capacities in the factories. And of course, we need, there was a interest subvention scheme, which we want the government to reintroduce and make it to 5% at least, so that we can be competitive enough in the market and make the exports grow from Jaipur.
Okay. Amit, you were talking about the Japan market. I believe the industry that the factory that you have, you are huge exporters to Japan. And you were talking about how if we step in, then that 1%, you gave me a figure. Just explain that a little bit, please.
Ma'am, currently Japan's textile import from India is about 1% of its total share. At the same time, 14% from Bangladesh. If we can even get 1% of Bangladesh share, then we double our exports to Japan. So, right policies, ease of imports, right subsidies, proper incentives. We are the biggest industry for employment generation in India, 50% of which are women. And also, we are the only industry which give employment to the unskilled manpower. So, considering this, I think we should be given importance and priority and higher incentives, especially to the smaller exporters from the category of 10 to 50 crores, because they make the bulk of exporters from this country.
Okay, I agree. That's a very, very important point that you've raised. The other very important point is about GST and taxation. So I will throw this question either to you, Vimal ji, or since that is your area of expertise. आपको क्या लगता है? GST, is it just very simply to ask you, is it a very complicated tax?
No, not really complicated. बट मेरा इसमें छोटे से सजेशन है, अगर गवर्नमेंट उसमें कुछ करे तो हमें उसमें थोड़ा फ़ायदा हो जाएगा. नंबर वन, एवरी मंथ वी आर 2 रिटर्न देते हैं, GSTR1 एंड GSTR3B. तो मेरा रिक्वेस्ट ये है कि इन दोनों रिटर्न्स को मिला के एक कर दिया जाए, जिससे कि हमारा समय बचे, मैन पावर बचे, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट इंडस्ट्री इज़ ए वेरी कॉम्पिटिटिव इंडस्ट्री, तो बहुत ज़्यादा मैन पावर हम इसमें यूज़ नहीं कर सकते. नंबर 2, एवरी मंथ हम एक रिटर्न देते हैं ITC 04. ये थोड़ी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड रिटर्न है, जिसके अंदर हमने जितना भी जॉब वर्क के लिए माल इशू किया है उसकी पूरी हमें एंट्री और एग्जिट हर बार बतानी पड़ती है, प्लस उसके अंदर जो ऐड ऑन हुआ है, प्राइस ऐड ऑन हुआ है, उसका हमको डिटेल देना पड़ता है. तो इन गवर्नमेंट इंडस्ट्री बहुत सारा जॉब वर्क, हैंड वर्क, एम्ब्रॉयडरी, एम्बेलिशमेंट हमको बार बार माल एग्जिट इन करना पड़ता है, क्योंकि ज़्यादातर हमारा माल पूरी एरिया से बनता है. तो मेरी गवर्नमेंट में ये रिक्वेस्ट है, इस पर्टिकुलर GST के लॉ के ऊपर एक बार गारमेंट इंडस्ट्री के लिए सोचा जाए. अगर ये हट सके तो हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा हेल्पफुल होगा, क्योंकि ये बहुत डिफ़िकल्ट रिटर्न है. एक और मेरी गवर्नमेंट से रिक्वेस्ट है, एवरी मंथ हम TDS की रिटर्न देते हैं, जिसके अंदर डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज है, सर्विस पे अलग है, जॉब वर्क पे अलग है. हर कैटेगरी के लिए हमको हर बार उसमें वापस से लॉग इन करना पड़ता है. दैट इज़ अगेन टाइम टेकिंग. मेरी गवर्नमेंट से रिक्वेस्ट है, उसके लिए एक सिंपल एक लॉगिन बना दिया जाए, जिसमें हम सारी रिटर्न्स एक ही बार में दे दें, तो काफ़ी टाइम सेविंग हो सकता है. तो छोटे छोटे सजेशन हैं जो हमें बहुत मदद कर सकते हैं.
I think overall the thing is about ease of doing business from what I can understand. And it's Akashji, simple things like you were mentioning, even for the employees, when you're giving some money for the ESI, the government used to subsidize that, now they're not doing that. So these little things are ways to help exporters, because at the end of the day we are talking about Make in India.
That is true. That is true. Like previously we used to get the share from the government on ESI and PF, and which has been discontinued. And we definitely want that support from the government, because we are employing the maximum human resource, and that's the main thing.
Also, again, coming back to loans, because Rakshit ji has spoken about it, but coming back to loans, if you need capital, to up your industry, to modernize, to expand, how easy is it, and what are the collaterals? Is that very difficult to sort of adhere to, the collaterals that they ask for?
It is. And because as Amit said, we have to be, we have to increase our share. So if we increase our share, then definitely we have to be price competitive. And if we have to be price competitive, then we have to go into backward or forward integration, which is the need. Because otherwise, we have to get things done from different places, and that add on the costs, which is the big problem and India is facing. And to come with that, we have to go for integrations. And for that, we need definitely a support from the government. I don't know how they will give us the support, but definitely financial support is the main thing which is required.
Right. Also, Rakshit, just coming back to you, the world over, they are talking about sustainable, about industries that are sustainable. So we know that, for example, when it was the carpet industry, they were blacklisted because of, earlier, there was a talk about child labor. So when you talk about sustainability, about creating a sustainable industry, it's the narrative of the world today. What do you want from the government to support you in this?
So sustainability, so basically there's a principle, it's called RRR. It's recycle, reuse, and reduce. So which is very important as in sustainability. And to make a sustainable company, there's a lot of capital investment which is required, and unless we have that capital investments, we cannot make a sustainable factory. For that matter, we need to invest a lot of money, and we need some intervention from the government, and they give us some kind of a subsidy or incentive or some, I think incentives should be declared especially for the sustainable factories or who are going towards sustainable, then of course it's a need of the hour and the future. The industry is basically, in the long run, has to be sustainable.
Yeah, because water is a big issue. So, like, suppose an industry, you have to set up a water treatment plant or a water recycling plant. Say, even in the garment industry, water is a big issue, and in a state like Rajasthan. So, what would you then expect the government to do? I mean, would you expect them to subsidize something like that?
Yes, they can give us subsidized rates for ETP plants. They can, make they can establish one big ETP plant in the industrial park, so that everybody can use the ETP thing instead of every individual putting ETPs in their factory. So they can make one big ETP for one industrial area, which can be great to us.
Also, I think what Amit was saying and what the other your executive members also said, I think somewhere modernization and technology is also holding back our exports. Do you think that's an issue? Did you, that's one question I want to ask. And also, what were your discussions with the government? Because you have recently made representations to the state government also.
So modernization, of course, today, without modernization, nobody can grow. Like even our smartphones, everything we are using today is technology. So like AI, modernization, new technologies, new ERP systems, new MES systems, all these things are very, very important for the industry. And these are all very expensive things, and these are basically, it's a recurring expense for us. Like I have introduced an ERP now, which is to modernize and to, upscale the company. But then, of course, this is a recurring expense, which is a big expense for us. So in case the government can support us, give us some, help, give us some incentives so that we can, go more towards modernization, make use of these ERPs which are coming up, make use of MES, train people how to use these technologies, use AI in the industry. So, but for that, of course, for a businessman, for a MSME, it becomes a bit difficult.
Absolutely. Amit, again, just further to that, the garment industry needs modern equipment and technology. Like you were discussing earlier, a lot of that equipment, those machines are not made in India. So you need to import. So where do you expect the government to step in and help you here?
I think the ease of import is very important from now onwards. I mean, looking at the world scenario with the political unrest in Bangladesh and their policies which are tilting towards the garment industry, we should be also following the same nomenclature. And ease of import of dye stuff, chemicals, embellishments, accessories, which they have about 10% wastage as well. That is very important. Now, the next generation of, like Rakshit said, next generation of garmenting would be usage of AI and different methodology for manufacturing. So we have to have liberal import policy so that we can really, really scale up and, in tunes and in match with the global perspective.
So very interesting that actually import and export are very closely linked. So to have a successful export business, you need to have relaxation in imports, because a lot of the raw material that you're getting is imported. I mean, I think even cotton yarn was an issue for the garment industry.
Yes, it was. And also like...
are the taxes very high on importing cotton?
It is not that... it's not that high, but the thing is like there's a lot of process to get the things in. And like the taxes are there, and
so the red tapeism, business is still not that easy. We've been trying to make it easy for people to do business, but like you said, there's a lot of process.
Lot of process, and by the time like the thing comes, the delivery date has come already. So that's a problem, and we are facing because of this. Our shipment get delayed, or that is how like we are not so smooth in processing the goods from the imported fabrics. But like all the countries, if you see Bangladesh or Cambodia or other countries, Vietnam even, they are just doing it from the imported fabrics which are imported from Korea or China or Japan. So they have the access to this, but here we are stuck up. That's the thing.
एक लास्ट आपसे मैं पूछना चाहूँगी, आप लोग सरकार से मिले है ना, और ऑब्वियसली राजस्थान गवर्नमेंट विल पुट फॉरवर्ड योर सजेशंस टू द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. क्या मांगे हैं सरकार से कि बिजनेस थोड़ा इजी हो और मुनाफा कमा सकें स्टेट और कंट्री के लिए?
ये तो डेफिनेटली हमारी डिमांड है ही कि हमें मतलब सरकार रिलैक्सेशन दे तो हम इंडिया के एक्सपोर्ट को एक नई ऊंचाइयों पे ले जा सकते हैं. मेरा एक रिक्वेस्ट और है, हमारी जितनी भी मशीन्स हैं सब इम्पोर्टेड है, और जो अभी नई टेक्नोलॉजी आ रही है वो सब इम्पोर्टेड है. हमें या तो चाइना से या जापान से या जर्मनी से सारी मशीन इंपोर्ट करनी है. मैं गवर्नमेंट से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि जो भी बड़े मशीन मैन्युफैक्चरर्स हैं जो मोस्ट मॉडर्न मशीन्स अभी गवर्नमेंट के लिए बना रहे हैं, उनको इंडिया इनवाइट किया जाए. उनको इंडिया में फैक्ट्री लगाने के लिए भी सब्सिडी या अट्रैक्शन दिया जाए, जिससे कि हम मेड इन इंडिया मशीन बाय कर सकें. अभी हमारी गारमेंट इंडस्ट्री के अंदर ऑलमोस्ट 99% मशीन्स जो हैं वो नॉट बाहर से है.
Everything is coming from
सो
outside.
तो ये एक रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप बाहर के मशीन मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को भी इंडिया में इनवाइट करिए. दैट इज़ अगेन ए स्पेशल रिक्वेस्ट, एंड आई होप कि हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी मेड इन इंडिया के अंदर इसको ज़रूर ध्यान देंगे.
Just before we end, so I'll just put the last question to Rakshit. Rakshit, for exports and especially for medium and small scale industries, skilled labor is definitely an issue. Now, like we said, like Amit said, that the garment industry employs a lot of women, very very crucial in the workforce. Somewhere you will also need skilled labor. So what's the kind of help that you need from the government for skilling? And I'm not talking not just about the garment industry, but generally, if we want to even go into, say, the automobile sector, or we want to step in and take the space that is China and Bangladesh, we will need to skill our workforce.
This is, one of the key points at the moment where we are lacking. We need skilled labor. Skilling, of course, we hire unskilled labor and then we skill them in the factories, but it becomes very difficult because of the competitive nature. Secondly, the quality levels, to ensure that quality levels are good, nice, delivered. So skilling is most important. So we are in touch with the textile industry. There's a scheme called Summer Scheme, which they've introduced. And we are trying to understand that, and we're thinking how we can take the benefit out of that scheme and skill the people who are in the company or who wants to get skilled. Secondly, we have an institute which is called ATDC, Apparel Training and Designing Center. So where we are using the skilling techniques and we are trying to skill people. Of course, it's not so easy because people don't want to come, people want to work, they don't have finances. So we need a bit of support from the government where, if government can subsidize and give some 50% of the education fees to the kids and 50% maybe kids can bear, so that, more people come towards the industry and, they come for the training institutes. At the moment, we have institutes, but they are not used. They are empty. They are not being used fully.
And I think somewhere our focus has been on education versus vocational. So I think what you're saying is there's a need of the hour from the industry for having skilled and vocational training, I think. So thank you very much for speaking to NDTV. So this was a conversation with exporters in Jaipur, but of course we were speaking to GEAR, that is the Garment Exporters Association of Rajasthan. Remember, Rajasthan, like I said earlier, is a state that is among the top 10 states in the country as far as exports are concerned. Most of them are medium and small scale industries. So of course, finance is something they're looking at from the government, modern technology, modern machines, and skilling the labor force.